Everyone wants more velocity. Pitchers want to throw harder. Golfers and hitters want more clubhead speed and bat speed. There's a lot of hype around weighted balls, speed sticks, and velocity tools. Now, the truth is, underload and overload training works, but only when you understand the actual biomechanics behind it. Now, today, I'm breaking down the real science of velocity development, not the social media version. Now, early on in my career, I leaned heavily on the foundational research from Cochran. His work was the first to clearly demonstrate what underload and overload training could do for throwing velocity. Later on, Tom House pushed this conversation forward with a more systematic approach for pitchers. Now, I've applied both models across major league pitchers, college university level players, and PGA Tour players. And here's what became obvious very quickly. If you use weighted implements without understanding the biomechanics behind them, you can absolutely do more harm than good. Now, done correctly, they can be an optimal tool, an extremely powerful tool in your toolbox. Done incorrectly, they can disrupt mechanics, create instability, and increase injury risk. Velocity comes down to three things. Number one, force production. Rate of force production, or how quickly you can produce that force. And movement efficiency, meaning how well the kinetic chain transfers energy. Underload and overload tools influence these mechanisms in very different ways. Underload implements increase movement speed and improve neural drive. They help the athlete organize the kinetic chain at higher velocities. Whereas overload implements increase force production and strengthen the deceleration system. They challenge the athlete to control greater forces and stabilize joints under load. Weighted implements are not magic. They simply alter movement speed and movement force in a controlled way, so the athlete can later produce higher velocity in full speed throwing or swinging motions. Now, underload training is often misunderstood, but it's extremely valuable. When you take a lighter ball or lighter club or bat, the athlete instantly moves faster than they can normally move. That increase in speed forces the body to improve timing, improve sequencing, and improve the stretch shortening cycle. Underload throws and swings also expose mechanical flaws you might never see in a standard speed environment. In pitching, I've seen underload throws reveal late arm timing, poor hip-shoulder separation, and torso instability. In golf, lighter clubs expose early extension patterns almost immediately, because the athlete can't hide behind tension or muscle recruitment. Underload training sharpens the timing of the entire kinetic chain. Now, overload is the other side of the coin. Moving a heavier implement forces higher levels of force production. It increases posterior chain activation, and it demands stronger deceleration mechanics. But here's the mistake coaches make. They assume overload automatically trains power. It doesn't. Overload trains force production and braking capacity. It strengthens the system that has to absorb force, slow the body down, and protect the joints. When I worked with pitchers using heavier balls, the biggest improvement wasn't velocity right away. It was a stronger and more coordinated deceleration pattern. Better deceleration means better joint stability. Better joint stability means more efficient energy transfer. And more efficient energy transfer eventually becomes more velocity. Across MLB pitchers, elite golfers, and high-level hitters, the patterns have been consistent. Too much overload training slows athletes down. Sequencing gets disrupted, the movement becomes rigid and inefficient. Now, too much overload training makes athletes faster, but not stronger. And without the force production or stability to support that speed, mechanics fall apart. The sweet spot is a balance between both. You use light implements to train speed. You use heavy implements to train force and stabilize the deceleration system. And standard implements to integrate everything back into the full speed pattern. Green understood this decades ago. Tom House built practical systems around it. And when you combine the research with real-world application, the conclusion is simple. The system works as long as it's balanced and intentionally programmed. When underload and overload training are combined correctly, here's what actually changes. Sequencing improves, rotational speed increases, deceleration mechanics get stronger, joint stability improves, energy transfer becomes more efficient, and yes, throwing velocity and swing speed go up. The formula is straightforward. Improved rate of force development plus clean sequencing plus a stable deceleration system equals real, sustainable velocity gains. Now, velocity isn't magic. It's mechanics, force production, and movement speed working together. Weighted implements are powerful tools, but only when you understand the science driving the adaptation. Keep the training balanced, keep the sequencing clean, and keep the intent high. That's how you develop real velocity and keep athletes healthy while doing it.